Yeah, there was nothing.
There's nothing, Ted. There's nothing. Here we are.
It's dry until the end of the month.
It's just the driest of dries, you know?
And yet the state's never been wetter, but we're dry on news, that's for sure.
Hello and welcome back to the Skylines Gaming Podcast, episode 126. I'm your host, Jake Burke, and joined, as always, by James St. Charles and Mr. Miami Vice himself. Look at him cruising the streets, looking for babes, solving crimes. Ted.
I got my racing wheel. I'm ready to go.
Nice. What song are you rocking out to? What's the 80s song that just is bopping in Miami?
The song that has fire in it, that from Bon Jovi. I think it's called Light My Fire, but it's not Light My Fire.
Come on, baby, light my fire.
No, not that one. There's a different song with fire in it.
Oh, we didn't start the fire.
That's not Bon Jovi.
That's Billy Joel.
That's Billy Joel.
It's
I can listen to that one, though. That's a good
song. That's a good song. Fun fact. You want to know a fun fact about me, Ted?
And
then James, you can know this one too. You don't have to plug your ears. I'll let you know this one as well. I know every single word till we didn't start the fire.
Did you use that in a job interview, or?
I used it to win my wife. I told her that this on like our 5th date.
Yeah, she was on auction, and you won her.
5th date, you already won.
That's true. But 5th date, told her this fact, and she's like, I don't believe you. And in the car ride back, started singing We Didn't Start the Fire, and I swore that's when Madeline fell in love with me. I saw it.
You swore.
Yeah.
You cursed.
I cursed. I swore. But enough about me. Enough about Billy Joel, because this is the 126th episode of the Sidescape Gaming Podcast. Once a week, we Discord over 500 miles, talk about a gaming-related topic and what games we are playing. I'm gonna be honest. This week this is kind of a crapshoot of a show. We're gonna talk about, I guess, Skylines 2 or something. Ted, is that what we're talking about?
Yeah.
All right. We're also gonna talk about.
There's not a lot going on.
No, we're gonna talk about. I beat Metroid Prime for the first time, so we're gonna talk about that too. And just kind of everything else that's going on in the video game world, James.
Are they remaking Prime 2 as well? Or...
That's the rumor. The rumor was that this has been Metroid Prime 1 had been remade for like 2 years and just not released.
I heard that too.
Yeah. So apparently they've got them all.
They just know how to just sneak these ones in. And it's always around this time frame. They'll just get like a win by a game that comes out. Like you get Animal Crossing coming out, or
have you played Metroid Prime before?
Yes.
The
I
whole
had
thing.
it for the GameCube.
Oh.
I didn't beat it, but I definitely played it, and it was a lot of fun, and it was great. But it was great as a kid.
It was great. We're going to talk about it a little later, but Ted, I want you to run me through your bullet points. What do we got? Let's start. Give me a bullet point.
Our like loose news of this week.
Our loose news. What's the loose news?
It's loose. All right. What do we got? Again, not a lot happened. Starfield had an announcement. They stated they were going to announce things. They're going to show the game off more in depth on June 11th, but supposedly, we have a launch date of September 6th of 2023.
And we kind of were talking about this before the show, but like, do we believe that this is the actual date? Because I don't at all.
I don't believe it. First off, why do you just announce the date? Like, just like, hey, come to the show for more news.
Yeah.
And then I'm thinking they just do the shadow drop right there. Boom, just drop it, Todd, right on the stage. Game Pass. Or beta.
Do that.
My favorite thing is that's when you texted us this morning. You were like, imagine if the game was just available now. I was like, it's just the internet would break.
Yeah, no.
No.
They have to get a date out there. They have to tell people. GameStop has to know to put all the posters on the wall. Like,
right.
They need.
There is a date. Once they make that gold disc.
Yeah,
and
the problem
once the pre-orders start coming in, that's what I want to
exactly. Like, the problem with shadow dropping is you can't market around suddenly announcing a game that's available right now.
And in 2023, James, you can pre-order stuff, and it doesn't even matter. Sometimes that game doesn't even come out anymore, and they just give you your money back.
They just got a free loan from me.
I know. Have you pre-ordered Starfield? Do you have Game Pass?
No, I'm not gonna pre-order. I got Game Pass.
Do you guys pre-order games at all anymore?
No.
No.
You know what? I should have though. I should have pre-ordered fucking Metroid Prime.
I was gonna say,
I wanted the physical.
Well, you couldn't pre-order Metroid Prime.
I
shadow drop.
You're right.
You could pre-order the physical release.
You can pre-order the physical though, because the physical didn't release when the.
You're right. Right.
That's what I did. That's how I got it.
That's what I done.
You got it? You got it now?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
All right, cool. I would like to continue this tradition of every news story that you talk about, we somehow mention Metroid Prime before talking about Metroid Prime.
I think we can easily do that. Yeah.
Cool.
Next bit of news: Mario Kart is adding 5 new characters. That game is still alive.
Hell yeah, it is. We know Birdo's the first one. All the DLC packs that come out this year and maybe into next year will have a character. which is very exciting. Mario Kart 8, the remake of a Wii U game, still getting new characters.
Is this is it still for the same expansion pass that you pay for $25?
You can also buy them separately. You can buy them for like $10 each or something. The packs, like the 4 tracks or whatever.
I think if you have the online expansion pass, you technically get it for free.
Yeah, like I have the online expansion pass, and
but
for free.
They didn't announce like a year 2 Mario Kart expansion stuff. It's the same.
That's what this is. This is like the second wave of Mario Kart. They announced it last Nintendo Direct.
Right, but it's the same amount of money.
It's the same amount of
not
money.
A new. It's not a new $25. Yeah,
it's the next the expansion pack.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no. This is random and has nothing to do with that. But did you guys you had an N64, correct?
Yeah.
Ted?
I do now.
Okay. James? Do you remember the expansion thing that you would put in the middle of the? That was fucking
in front of the cartridge. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then do you remember the Rumble Pack?
I do remember the Rumble
Pack.
Pack. Yeah, I remember that. My mom did not like the Rumble Pack. It was way too expensive, and I never
used it.
Yeah.
Oh, well, in that case, my mom hated the N64
because it was way too expensive.
It was all too expensive. Yeah.
I got it used before the GameCube came out. Someone was selling their 64. It's like, I don't need the 64, and my dad got it for like $30. So like super cheap.
That's
with
awesome.
all the games, with like Super Mario, Smash, like all.
That's no expansion pack though, so he couldn't play any of the good games.
He couldn't play DK64 that needed the expansion
pack. He couldn't play Duke Nukem. You know what was he even doing?
Play GoldenEye.
Well, and then certain games, for some reason, also needed a memory card for the N64, despite some games being able to save internally. What a fucking nightmare. Thank God we don't have to deal with memory cards anymore. I was thinking about that the other day.
Did you hear? I don't know. This is a complete rumor, but the internet's just a hilarious place. That Tears of the Kingdom is supposedly $10 extra because the memory card cartridge is going to have more memory in it because their Switch games are so bad.
It's the biggest Switch game, and it's 16 gigabytes.
Yeah, and the rumor, the defenders are being like, oh, it's $10 more because they have to add that much more space to the cartridge.
Get fucked.
So, but you pay more. Wait, you paying more for the physical or for the digital?
But
they're the same.
It's the same.
I was gonna buy the physical.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah. It doesn't matter. It's just $10 more because they can charge you $10 more for Tears of the Kingdom.
I think the Super Switch should just have a memory card system again. Let's go back to blocks.
It technically does. It has the
SD cards.
Yeah, but that's that's not Nintendo enough. I want a thing that I insert into the front.
Ted, you have a PlayStation Vita. You have a PlayStation Vita. You understand the proprietary memory card that only could be Sony made, and they were like $90.
What a great idea!
Yeah.
I loved giving them my money.
Yeah,
you know, like the Xbox hard drives.
Oh God, the clip-off hard drive.
Yeah.
God, we're in such a better.
And it also had memory cards.
They did.
Yeah.
Speaking of potentially useless crap that Microsoft sells, The Outer Worlds got re-released.
What?
Again?
What?
You guys see this?
The game that's already on Game Pass?
Yeah, The Outer Wilds got re-released with like a next-gen complete edition.
Outer Wilds or
Worlds?
Worlds. Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Fucking
oh my god.
Figure it out, bro.
Video game
is the best game of all time.
Yeah.
Well, okay.
That I haven't beat.
Yeah, Outer Wilds. Yeah, I never beat it either.
It's the best game I don't know.
Too obtuse for me.
The Outer Worlds re-released on Steam, and for like the full price. Steam and everywhere. It's like their next gen version with all the DLC, which turns out to be 2 pieces of DLC.
There's DLC?
Yeah, for Outer Worlds. Not Wilds.
2 pieces.
What the fuck's going on in that game?
Yeah. So that got re-released. A lot of people are upset that they're charging money for the same thing.
Oh, it's the Game of the Year edition. They've done this forever.
Yeah, but if you already own all of this, it doesn't count. You have to pay money to upgrade to the new version. It's like a minimum of $10 to upgrade to this newest version.
Buy it on console.
It's also for sale on console.
Shit. Okay.
Yeah, it's like the Xbox Series X edition, PS5 edition is now out. Who knows?
James, you beat that game, right?
Yeah, I flew by in that game and was not happy with it at all.
I heard everything after Act 1 kind of sucked.
Yeah, the beginning, amazing. I was so immersed, and then after that, it just went to shit. And it's like, what the hell happened? They finished like 25% of the game, and then the rest was just like speed through. Kill this guy,
James,
you're done.
I was thinking, this got me thinking about playing the Outer Wilds because a lot of the conversation is like Outer Wilds 2 is coming out. Outer Worlds 2.
I was like, Outer Worlds 2, that's gonna break
Outer
the world.
Worlds 2 is coming out eventually, and maybe they're trying to like ramp up for that. Is there a definitive like Act 1 ends and now the game's bad? Like, could you just play the first few hours and be satisfied?
I'd say the very first world you basically wake up on, and that town that you go through is after that point you go once you're after that it just goes to fuck. It's like,
how many hours
goes to fuck.
Yeah, that's probably like 8 to 10 hours because once you go to the next area and the next area is huge, then it becomes like
it's bland.
It's
bland.
Yeah, it gets empty. The first one is just like has so much stuff going on. There's like little towns, little stuff nearby, and
because I got to the second planet and I was like, I'm done. All right, I got it.
Yeah, it was just not good. It just felt like very empty and bland. Not like a traditional like Fallout like that.
Speaking of empty, Cities Skylines 2 was also announced.
Yes.
Which like the trailer for it is incredible because it's not actually gameplay. It's just like photorealistic New York and there's taxi cabs.
It's Unreal Engine 5.
Yeah, like I was waiting for gameplay and it never happened. It was just like cars, like, splashing puddles of reflective water.
It's happening.
Yeah, so it's happening.
So no release date, no nothing.
Yeah, right. As soon as they came out with the City Skylines, like next gen, Xbox Series X current graphics, they came. That was for free for anybody who already owned the game. 2 weeks later, City Skylines 2 gets announced, which we're all positive is going to have none of the actual meat of the game and will all be sold as DLC separately.
Great. I saw something with like City Skylines, Sim City, all this stuff. I saw someone's post on Reddit the other day about Sims, and like if you wanted to get into the Sims 4 and get all DLC packs for the Sims 4,
it's like $470 bucks.
So expensive.
It's like way more than that, Ted. It's like in like the $800 to $900 range because every pack is like $25 to $30.
Yep.
It's like Star Citizen.
Yeah,
it is like for a ship.
I think the Sims series has made a genuine fortune, like from kids, like once a week being like, "Oh, can I get my DLC pack now?"
Nothing is even close to the Sims. Like it is its own thing. Nothing is close to it, and people love the Sims.
Yeah,
I can't believe. Jake, I've told this to you. I know when we lived together. If anybody comes out with a Sims competitor, the way City Skylines came out at around the same time SimCity 4 came out, or SimCity 5, whatever it was. Destroys the Sims.
Oh yeah.
If somebody makes a better game, like just without all this DLC crap.
Yeah.
All I want is a Sims games where my Sim gets addicted to drugs, like has a real drinking problem, and his roommates have to talk to him about it. That's my Sims.
That's the intervention DLC pack.
Yeah. You get the intervention DLC.
Can you imagine the Sims, but they just made it rated M? They had just allowed bad shit to happen. Be hilarious.
God. Just have like houses of orgies.
Yeah.
All right.
Be amazing. That's DLC though.
That's DLC.
Yeah.
What else you got for me, Ted?
I don't have a good transition away from orgies. But my last little bit is that Wargroove 2 was announced.
Cool.
Which came out to a lot of love and respect. And then I tell you guys this minutes before the show starts, and you both went, "Yeah."
Well, it definitely did come out to a lot of love and respect. I was like, "Oh, God, this is great," and we're playing it. And
no. I mean, the announcement of Wargroove 2. Everyone's like, "Oh, loved it."
You mean
could have been a little bit better, but loved Wargroove.
It's because they fixed Wargroove after everybody that played it right away played it and was mad at it.
Oh, did they?
Really? What'd they fix about it?
So Wargroove is like a Fire Emblem Advance Wars type game. More Advance Wars, I think, than Fire Emblem.
More Advance Wars.
Yeah.
2D tactics.
You're controlling your armies.
That's still close Fire Emblem.
Yeah. You don't have heroes though, if I recall. Like it's not heroes. Anyways, doesn't matter. It's a strategy game. And the thing was about when Wargroove first came out, the battles would take like 45 minutes to an hour and some change. Like they were long.
Remember Into the Breach?
Oh, that's one of the best strategy games. Because you know why that game's great? It takes about 10 minutes per round.
Yeah.
But you would go through the whole round, and then if you lost at the very end of the Wargroove game, there was no autosaves, there was no checkpoints. So you would just you could lose an hour and a half's worth of progress, like in a turn, where somehow the computer just figured out, oh no, we can just fuck this kid up right now.
It's like, yep, you're here, dead.
Oh, okay, cool, we just killed you all, and you're like,
nice.
Oh fuck, and I understand that's some strategy games, but that's not what that game was billed as, and it had this sharp increase of difficulty, And so they like reduced the difficulty increase and also added checkpoints in the middle of every game. And then people liked it. But it's like, well, fuck you. You already wasted hours of my time.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Interesting. Yeah.
I remember that game. Anger.
I know. I remember you playing a lot of it, and I remember playing it as well. And every single level, and maybe this was just the beginning, but in the first 6 hours that I played, every single level introduced a new mechanic about halfway through, and kind of like what you said of like you're playing your strat, and then they're like, oh, this episode we're gonna have flying guys, and you're like, well, I didn't build for flying guys.
Yeah, so now these flying guys just fuck up my base. Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Or it's like you moved all your guys to one area. It's like, actually, this area, there's going to be a lot more enemies coming in that area. So I know you moved all of your critical units there, and well, you can't take that back, and deal with this.
Yeah.
It's like, what?
Right.
So then you restart the battle.
They taught you the game piecemeal, level by level, which in a strategy game, you kind of just need to know how to play, so then you can think on the spot. It's kind of the joy of a strategy game is mathing it out. And they didn't do that. So I'm really curious about Wargroove 2. I'm happy for them. But I'm hoping it hits me a little bit harder this time around.
If it gets good reviews, I'll dig in.
Did they ever release date? Like, is it this year or anything or nothing?
No release date.
Okay. Because Advance Wars is gonna. This game should not come out this year because of Advance Wars. Yeah. Because Advance Wars is just gonna be great. It's so great they've delayed it because they don't want it to be like real war.
Just says Wargroove 2 is 2023 is the
All right, so it'll come out at the end of the year. All right.
Who knows? Are you guys still hyped for Advance Wars 2 reboot camp?
Yeah.
I was about to say they delayed Advance Wars because I was about to make a really bad joke, but
they did delay that because
they delayed it because there's a mission where Russia attacks Ukraine, and they said it.
Well, like one of the factions is just clearly Russia, and that's kind of why they delayed it.
So they have to rework that whole part.
Yeah, I'm sure the Russian guys are a little different now. Yeah, that's ridiculous. I want to talk about some Metroid Prime if you're done, Ted.
Do it.
Metroid Prime Rib.
Metroid Prime Rib, everybody's favorite dish at Chili's. Metroid Prime is a first-person Metroidvania game that came out for the GameCube a long time ago. And if you were like me, you missed it. You were just a dumb kid.
So just a quick thing before. Was there any Metroid game that released for Nintendo 64?
No.
It was just Smash, basically. Like that
there was a ton of Metroid games on Game Boy Advance and Game Boy. That was like a handheld series.
That's like Game Boy Advance, Game Boy, and Super Nintendo. Yeah. They missed Nintendo 64, so we had no 3D, we had no nothing there.
Nope.
Yep.
So this is their first introduction to like
a 3D Metroid. And in a very 3D space as a FPS. This game came out like 2003, I think, is when it originally came out. 2002, 2003. So it's like right after Halo. And kind of like that first-person shooter revolution.
Yeah. Sort of. It's one of those weird eras where like we look back on it easily, but like people playing Halo probably didn't have a GameCube and vice versa.
No.
People playing Halo were already set in that era.
Yeah, for sure.
You were playing the best thing you could possibly play.
But I'm saying like that FPS kind of like on console revolution was really there. And made by, I don't remember who it was originally, but Retro Studios has remade the game for the Switch now. They're also working on Metroid Prime 4, which you'll never actually play.
Just says Retro Studios.
Oh, so they must have made it back then as well. Okay. Yeah. Well, they've just been around forever.
They did such a good job.
Yeah, so I've never played it. I knew of it. I've seen it. I've played like the old Metroid Prime Hunters, which was on the 3DS. If anybody played that,
that's a good game.
It was, but that's a good game. You moved with the stylus. That's how you like would move your view.
Yeah, you aim with the stylus.
And then you tap.
Genuinely it was a pretty good way to play a first-person game on a handheld.
What was the Metroid game on the? Yeah, wait, was that the one on 3DS? Because I think I played that one.
That was on just regular DS. With some Metroid Prime Hunters.
So
the one on regular DS, I played. They had a demo cartridge. And that's what I played.
Yeah, that was Metroid Prime Hunters.
Really good game.
Yeah, great game.
That game's good.
Yeah, good actually surprisingly fun multiplayer.
Yeah.
Yes. And you can play it on that cartridge.
Yeah, you could. Oh yeah. You could just hop into lobbies. So I never played it, so I was very excited for when it got remade because it's one of those games that kind of is like on like a monolith of like the best games of all time. Metroid Prime is up there. I've never played the sequels or anything, but yeah, I was pleasantly surprised. I beat the game in like 14 hours, around there, 12 to 14 hours.
Pretty on par.
Pretty on par for kind of what you do. This game is a Metroidvania through and through. You have all of your equipment and everything in the beginning of the game, a cataclysmic event kind of happens and you lose all of your equipment, and then you have to go get all your equipment back.
How does this keep happening?
I know, Chad. You'd think Samus would learn.
Yeah.
You'd think she'd be like, I gotta get...
One day.
One day, my equipment has to stop falling off my body. But no, that's just kind of her thing. Loose with the armor. But she you land down on this new planet Talon 4, and you explore. The game is really interesting because it's Metroidvania in first person, and I think what makes it kind of an interesting dynamic is that you are hopping through these different areas of the map, like via these elevators, and trying to connect, like figuring out your best path to get from point A to point B, like in a normal Metroidvania. But they've conveyed it in a 3D space incredibly well. I don't know what the differences are between this version and the original, so I'm just going off with what I have here.
The controls are a huge thing in this one.
That's what I've heard.
Yeah.
The controls
the
are...
lock-on is next gen.
The aiming lock-on makes this game very fun because you don't have to be mad at the combat ever.
Yeah.
Where I think
the lock-on was in the original game because there was only one stick on the GameCube. Like the C stick didn't work as an analog stick. So you couldn't look around. Like wherever you looked, that's where you were walking. And so the only way they had to fix that was this lock-on system.
It was a snap lock-on though.
Yeah.
And it's still pretty snappy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love the lock-on system. I think it's great.
Yeah. Have you started playing this game, Ted?
Yep.
Okay. And James, are you going to play Metroid Prime at all?
Yeah, I'm going to play, yeah.
Okay. The lock-on makes this game awesome. When you fight a boss, you just lock on that thing and move it side to side. You don't die a lot because of that lock-on. I think like it makes you...
Right.
It gives you an incredible advantage in combat, and I think that actually benefits the game because it's a save point game. So there's not checkpoints. You are going into a save room like most Metroid games, and like that's where your checkpoint becomes. So you could do like a boss and a bunch of shit, and then if you die, you are bounced back all the way to when you last saved, which did happen to me once, and I was like, never again. Yeah. But what I really like about this game, why I think like this game is, I would recommend this to many people. We live in the age of games that just constantly fucking talk to you and like kind of tell you what to do at all fucking times. We use the example of like Horizon Forbidden West had this horrible system where like you'd walk into a puzzle room and like 2 seconds later, your companion's like, hey, Aloy, what if you tried to do this? And you're like, I just walked into this room. I haven't even looked over there yet. Like, okay, there's my solution. There's no talking. This game has zero talking.
There was a huge, there was a huge like little like video clip, I think, of Day 9 playing the new Metroid Prime, and he was bringing that up. Like, he's like, you know what makes this game great is that no one's telling me what to do, or like the second you walk into rooms, no one's like, hey, what if I tried this over here? Or, it's like, it's refreshing because that's actually like, I feel like a testament to a lot of Japanese games, especially with From Software. Like there's no one just telling you like, hey, you got to go here to get your horse, and you got to go over here to fight the boss. But no, you don't want to fight. Like no one's telling you that. They're just like very cryptic. Like, there's no guide. You play the game, you explore, and that's missing a lot. I feel like so many hand-holding games are out, and
we all have the budget to film or to record 8 different languages, all telling you all these different hints.
Right. And like,
but it doesn't need to do that. Like, if your game is intuitive enough to where someone can figure it out, or it's just a quick pop-up, fine. You don't need someone holding my hand to tell me like, hey, if you look around here, you can use the lock-on system.
Or like give it an option for just like, hey, you need a hint? And be like, yes, I do. And then like, all right, cool. But no, most games don't even give you the option. They just
that'd be great. Like right away, it's like, hey, do you want mediated hand-holding? No, but I think you'd see a significant like population where they would not do that.
I think you would too. And
now it's just like mandatory.
It drives me crazy. So that's what was so nice about this game, was just like no one is talking to you ever. You like switch your visor and you scan stuff, and that's kind of how you like start to understand what things are and what their weaknesses are.
The old games.
Yep. Just like old games. But like,
yeah, I was gonna say, how do you like the scanning system? Because it definitely gets to be a lot after a while.
It gets like, I like it because eventually you're like, all right, so what is this thing I'm looking at? Oh, right, I can scan it. Yeah, okay. Like you feel like Samus in a world, in an unknown location, in like a world you don't have any experience in. And so like you have to be Samus being like, I gotta scan this thing to see what this is. And like, I think that's really cool. I think that like the unfortunate part for that is like there are some times where like you're just playing the game and you kind of forget that you can scan stuff, and like there are certain walls and stuff that eventually you have to blow up with your bombs that like you would never think to scan that. And so like the fact that you have to switch to your scanner to see, it's like a set, like you have to be prepared to do that in this game. And I was never fully at that point of like, oh, right, I got to scan, like just flip on the scanner to see what to do. Like for instance, you have to eventually, you get all your equipment and like your next mission is to like find these artifacts, and these artifacts are like hidden throughout the map everywhere. And you get like clues and being like, well, in this room of life, you like will find a pillar, and that's like, destroy the pillar to reveal its location. Cool. You get into the room and you need to find the pillar, and it's like, what fucking pillar are you talking about? And like you can't scan to find the pillar. And like for me, it's like, well, that should be the mechanic of like, you need to scan and be like, this pillar is broken. But like, so like stuff like that, I'm like, well, the scanner doesn't help me in the way I wanted it to help me.
Right.
It just tells me enemies and text logs. So
yeah, I
think that's kind of interesting in that point. But I did find myself every so often having to go kind of check on the internet and be like, so what do I do next?
But that's how it was for the old times. At the Metroid Prime, you had the strategy
you
had
guide.
Your book.
You had your
strategy guide. The guide.
Yeah.
It was good.
And so I felt like I was doing that every so often. I was like, all right, I need to check the strategy guide. The game does have a system where eventually if you get lost enough or stray too far away from where it wants you to go, it will like have like a seismic warning or something that happens, like seismic activity warning, and that kind of tells you like which direction to head in. And like that is very helpful, but it doesn't always activate when you want it to activate. Like I'll be like looking for where I'm supposed to go. I'm like, okay, oh, this is ready to go on the internet. Cool. And then I'll start walking there and it does the seismic activity thing. I'm like, well, yeah, I'm going this way because the internet told me to, not the game.
Right. So, it's a little late to the party.
Like, thanks, man. Okay, cool. But man, this game is so good. The way that you move around this map, and then you just start to like, well, we've all played Metroidvanias and it's a genre we all love, but like, when you really start to gel, and like, when you get the double jump in this game, it changes everything about this game. This game becomes 200 times better once you're double jumping around this fucking map, because like you're not limited like you are in the beginning. And man, that is an amazing, liberating feeling of being like, okay, this map's mine now. Like I can just move around this area as Samus, and like that's super cool.
Isn't there like a morph ball type like form you can go in? And,
I
always like that. Just zoom around on that and the ball.
The boost ball and stuff. There are these puzzles, James, and like if I streamed this game, people would make fun of me. Because there are these puzzles where you're in the morph ball and you have to go like up these ramps and like boost at the right time, these half pipes to like get to higher things. And man, do I just cannot comprehend at what point am I supposed to boost to get the speed. And I'll just be sitting in these things for fucking ever. I was on a plane flying to Texas playing this game, and for like 25 minutes I'm doing the same like, like, fuck, this is not how it's supposed to go. But dude, it's so fun. I love like you scan, eventually you fight like space pirates, and like each space pirate is like, and it's very video gamey, but like it's actually a lot like Harry Potter, where like you have different kind of weapons, and then their shields are like different colors, and so you have to like shoot them with the right color weapon, and that's very fun. Very changes up like a lot of the dynamics. A lot of the enemy variety is very cool. The bosses are whatever, and it does like my least favorite thing video games can do at the end of a game, where like it introduces a new mechanic to fight the final boss.
I hate that, and that's what Harry Potter did. Fuck you, Harry Potter.
Fuck you, Harry Potter. Hogwarts Legacy.
Fuck you, Hogwarts.
But yeah, so he does do that at the end, where you literally, spoiler alert, you fight the Metroid Prime, which I thought was pretty funny. I am the Metroid Prime is what I texted Ted. Ted, what do you think about this game? Have you played it before? You're playing it now?
I played it as a kid. The strategy guide got passed around a lot at school, so I remember seeing images of the late game.
Yeah.
But going back to it as an adult, I could not get over the control system. Like playing it on a GameCube as an adult.
Okay.
So I kind of just shelved it of like, this is cool, but like we're not doing this.
Yeah.
I don't know where I am in the new game. I'm somewhere in the first area, past the prequel. And I'm generally loving it. I love the atmosphere. I mean, Metroid games have this really good sense of making you feel alone. I've talked at length about Metroid Fusion, available now on Game Boy Advanced, Switch, expansion pass or whatever. But yeah, this game's really cool. To me, it feels more like a puzzle game than like a shooter. It's kind of like a puzzle game with a cool shootery coat of paint on it. And that's where I think what you're talking about with the bosses, where like the first, I guess technically the second boss you fight feels much more like a puzzle where
Yeah.
you can die than it does from like a shooting. I need to aim right and dodge correctly and Dark Souls it up. So treating it more like a really weird, interesting puzzle game to me is kind of where I'm sitting with it, and I'm having a great time with it.
Yeah, I think that is definitely true, and like it almost shows its hand a little too much at the very end of the game, where like you are in much more combat heavy situations of like,
yeah,
this is not what I love about the game, and
right.
like you're a video game, so like I gotta fight things at the end of a game to make it the end of the game, but like the game is so much more about exploring the environment, getting from point A to point B, and like, and really like what I think is really cool about this game is it reminds me a little bit of Hollow Knight in that regard of like you're getting context clues of where to go and trying to piece that all together rather than like, and the context clues are very easy. Like there's a place called the Life Grove and it will say like one of the is like in the Grove of Life. And you're like, well, clearly I need to be in that fucking room.
Yeah.
So, like, can you hear the cat?
Actually,
yeah.
Come here. Just
Speaking of the Grove of Life.
Jesus Christ.
Actually,
I was like, I'm pretty sure the door's open. But yeah, so like I think like that the game does start to kind of waver a little bit. Like once the Metroids kind of get reintroduced and like, Scout, come here. Yeah, chill out, dude. Holy shit. Yeah, come here. Come say hi.
Play Metroid.
No kidding. She did not like Metroid. She's not like.
no.
She doesn't like female protagonists. That's really what it is.
Yeah. Move. What are you gonna do?
International Women's Day.
For now, on International Women's Day. James, I have a great football thing to tell you after the show. Okay.
Great.
No, it doesn't relate to what we're doing here now.
No.
This game also does just speaking of women. This game does a really cool thing where if you like shoot against a wall, the flash of light will like pop up, and it'll show Samus's like eyes in the reflection of the visor, like in the HUD, and like that's really cool to me. Like that is like one of the coolest things I've seen in a game.
They did a really good job of making you feel like you're from a first person perspective of you in a suit.
Yes.
Which is something that used to be a thing and has really fallen off over the years, where like they make your HUD look as though your camera is sticking through the suit.
Yeah.
I thought that was a really cool touch.
Yeah, I do too. I think it's really cool.
That didn't need to be there.
No, like
that didn't need to happen.
There's like a temperature gauge on the side of your like HUD the entire game that like will reach to warning levels, but like it doesn't affect you ever. Like it's just there as like an aesthetic of like this would be on her suit. But like, unless you're in lava on fire, like the heat never hurts you. But like that's just there as like an aesthetic little like gauge that Samus would have on the side of her suit. I was like, that's really cool. Like I agree with that. It's really fun. And the game is. I mean, I love like a game that you increase your like stats by exploring. I think is really cool. So like finding energy tanks and like. I mean, shit, I had like 175 missiles by the end of this game because that's all you find, just missiles and energy tanks.
Oh yeah.
But like. That I think is really cool. Like the rewards are very statistical and like very like strategic in how you're gonna be better off in the game. So like because I explored more, I was heavily rewarded. Where like I could just handle these last bosses without much trouble because I had so much fucking health. So I really recommend this. I mean, this game's fucking awesome.
Did you feel like you had to explore out of your way to feel overpowered?
Yes, but like not in a bad way. Okay. Like out of my way, but in a way of like, but I kind of wanted to explore everywhere. Like, and that's how I am in Metroidvanias. Like, if I see an open door, I'm like, well, what is in that door? And it's like why it's like one of my favorite genres is just like I want to see everywhere. So you get to that map room and it finally downloads the whole map, and then like, oh my god, there's like 6 doors I didn't even go into and didn't even see like what's there, and that's to me that's really interesting. And I know there's a ton of stuff because I think I beat the game with like 72%. So. I'm missing 28% of stuff in that game, which is pretty cool. And I felt like I explored a decent amount of it. So I really recommend it. I think it's one of the better, like especially the best like FPS Metroidvania I've ever played. But like I think it's one of the better Metroidvanias that I've ever played. I don't know if it's like my favorite, but very unique and
it set a bar.
It did.
Yeah.
So I have 2 questions for both of you. First one. This first one kind of released out of nowhere. There's a lot of rumors about a Metroid Prime 2 and 3 coming out, especially before we see any information about 4.
Yeah.
You guys excited for those? You think you're going to play 2 when it comes out? You think you'd spend $40 more for a 2?
Yeah.
What about a 3?
The thing is, I don't think they've done any work for 2 because I feel like they were just did Prime, and it's like, let's just have this. And they're gonna probably be focusing on 4 since they're working on 4. Right. So the core servers are gonna fly. Maybe they dedicate some people to work on 2 since it's wildly successful for 1. But I don't know if 3 comes out. Maybe after 4.
There is a Metroid Prime game that apparently sucks, right? It's called Other M or something.
Metroid Other M and Metroid Federation Force were 2 games that really sucked.
But they're not called Metroid Prime. They're just like
no.
Okay, but they are FPSs.
No, Metroid Federation Force is 2D. Metroid Other M?
I think that one's FPS.
I don't know. I know there's cutscenes with a lot of Samus talking.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
Okay. Does she have a worse voice than Zelda in Breath of the Wild? Remember that voice, James?
Yes.
I don't even remember. Oh, maybe yeah.
No, just like spark triggered you right there.
Now I remember.
It's got a heavy, like Metroid Other M looks like it's 2D or 2.5D.
Oh,
but the voice acting is because she's a princess.
Yeah, but you don't have to be British.
All princesses are British.
Voice.
They're all British, James.
They're all British.
All princesses. I would play Metroid Prime 2 purely because, like, yeah, you got me with Metroid Prime once. Like, what was the next one you made? But, like, if I didn't like that as much, I probably wouldn't play a third one. You know what I'm saying? Like, in that way. But, like, I really thought this game was great. So, yeah, let me see. What else you got? Makes me excited for 4. Like, what are we going to get?
So that goes into my other question of, like, do you guys think this is just a giant stall tactic to get...
Like,
do you think...
I think so.
Like, because this makes me think that 4 is even farther away than we thought. Because they announced it with a title card. We haven't seen anything. And then the company that's supposed to be making Metroid Prime 4 comes out with Metroid Prime Remastered.
So Jason Schreier, who Triple Click is his podcast, he works for Bloomberg, he used to work for Kotaku. He's like, in my opinion, he's the best games journalist there is. Knows his shit. He has stated that this game has been done for 2 years.
Yeah.
That Metroid Prime Remastered, not Prime 4, but Remastered, the one that just came out, has been done for 2 years, and it was just sitting. Yeah. And he goes, I don't understand why. I think it's because Prime 4 is probably coming out next year, and I think they're gonna reveal it this year. Like,
I think Good, yeah.
I think we're gonna say the same thing. So.
Well, there's just a lot of eyes now, and so I think they just got a huge boost, and Nintendo's gonna be like, all right, whatever you want to finish this game, finish it. Yeah. So I think that they're gonna go full force finishing.
I partially disagree in that I really think that they're going to take their time and put out a 2 and a 3 now. Because this is really successful and it's building kind of hype. And to go off of that, like, it'd be kind of weird to re-release 1, and introduce this character in the story,
4.
and then not have a 2 and 3. And so all those people who are like, well, I need to play 1, 2, and 3 before I can play 4, they're left in the dust.
So,
like,
I have a question. Can someone look this up?
Bet Jake $10.
Yeah, I'm going to bet and move, baby.
I learned not to do that.
Give me, Ted, if you could look this up for me, just because I'm recording the show. What do you need? What are, like, the Metacritics of 2 and 3? Because are 2 and 3 considered good? Or is Metroid Prime 4 going to drop the 4 and be a new Metroid Prime that kind of is like a pickup after 1, or like, you know what I'm saying? Like, are we bypassing the fact there's a few other ones and just...
Metroid Prime 2 got a general review of 9.5 out of 10.
That's pretty fucking good. All right.
I remember Metroid Prime 2 being like a lot like Metroid Prime 1.
I would imagine.
And then,
I can't imagine what they would do to really change it up.
Yeah, Metroid Prime 3, which was a Wii game. So it was fully like Wii. I don't think you could play it with a controller. I don't remember being able to. That got 96%, 9.5, 4.5s. So
okay, all right. So maybe they
were all rated very highly in their day.
I bet you 2 and 3 come out together if they do it.
That makes sense to me. I mean, the Wii had a Metroid Prime collection at one point. And so to me, it's kind of confusing to like release these all separately. I could see a 2 and a 3, maybe even as like DLC for your first game of like, just give us 10 extra bucks. We'll throw on the second one.
No way. They're going to charge fucking 40 for both.
Yeah, they're going to charge 40.
But like the idea of spending $200 for 4 Metroid Prime games in 2024 seems a little silly to me too.
That's so much money.
Like, Nintendo is finally, for the first time in their careers, like getting on board with this idea of like, we'll give you our old games. Like, you pay for our online service, we'll actually give you some of our old games. You don't have to pirate them.
You can't play Wind Waker though.
Yeah, and then they're like, but
But
we put some effort into Metroid Prime, so please pay us $40 and keep doing that.
So weird. James, what are you gonna say?
I was just gonna say, if Prime they've been sitting on it for 2 years, and then I'm guessing they probably spent a year like working on it. There's no chance they've been working on a Prime 2 in that time frame at all.
Yeah.
So they would have to start right now, and then that'd probably take another year. And there's just no way they have the team bandwidth currently to work on both Prime 4 and Prime 2. I think they're gonna go full team on Prime 4, or Nintendo can invest and say, actually, Prime did so well, we want Prime 2. Here's what we're gonna give you. Split off your team, work on this, and rep Prime 4. Is whatever. Nintendo's gonna make the stupid decision, which is they want Prime 4 now. Yeah. But the smart decision would be like, let's make another team, split off your team, Prime 2, work on that.
Yeah.
Get something out. That's gonna probably take less time. It's gonna definitely take like less than a year, I feel like.
I don't think you get another Metroid game this year though.
No, not this year.
No, because we're like building Metroid as this franchise that we're getting one a year or something.
If we don't see a Prime 4 trailer this year,
God help that game. Yeah, God help that game. At this point, we went an entire year last year without it being talked about. So
yeah, we got a nice title screen.
Yep, I won that bet. I was pretty proud of that one. Any final thoughts on Prime? I think it's a great game. I think everybody should play it. It's fucking awesome. Yep. It's
one of the best
Amazon Prime
Switch, one of the best Switch games.
Oh, and this game looks beautiful. Like they've remastered the hell out of this game or remade it or whatever they did. It's beautiful.
For 2 years?
For 2 years?
I don't know. It sucks.
But yeah, like I just think like the way your arm cannon lights up and stuff. My favorite thing is you can have an X-ray vision, and you can see Samus's other like arm holding the arm cannon, which I thought was pretty cool. So I was like, oh, she actually has that other arm. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
I always thought maybe she was an amputee.
Mega Man.
Yeah, I always thought she was like Mega Man.
Yeah, she spends the entirety of that game not letting go.
Yeah,
there are plenty of jumps that you could just grab onto, but she doesn't do that. She holds onto her gun.
She doesn't drop that gun. You're right, James. Mega Man does have 2 hands. His hand turns into a gun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, his hand is a gun.
No, but he also has hands.
No, he has a blaster.
Doesn't his hands
We've gotten off topic.
No, Mega Man has a blaster and like a regular hand.
Right, but doesn't his hand turn into like other things? Because he turns into Metal Man and he starts throwing buzzsaws.
Yeah. I mean, there's like upgrades, but
and then he gets another hand.
We're talking about Mega Man.
When he upgrades, he gets a second hand.
We're talking about Mega Man.
Are we not talking Street Fighter vs. X Tekken Mega Man, where he's just a guy holding a pistol?
I'm sorry, what?
Have you not seen this?
There's Mega Man and Smash, right?
Yeah, Mega Man and Smash, but he has 2 hands.
Jake, look it up right now. I should see your live reaction. Look up Street Fighter X Tekken Mega Man, and tell me what you think. Just maybe some images.
X Tekken. Okay. Oh, I think I know.
They put Mega Man in a fighting game. He looks great.
Oh my god! Oh god! Oh my god! Oh my god!
It's just a guy with a gun.
But like this looks like more recent. Like this man.
Yeah, that's him.
I can't do it. There you go. Look at that man. Hold on. When was this game out?
A big gut.
2013.
Why was this the Mega Man in 2013? He's never looked like this.
Apparently, he looked like that in the box art for the original.
He kind of does actually. Yeah. But that's horrifying. Whoever okayed this is an idiot.
It didn't go over well. Let's put it that way.
Still not.
It's great. I love it.
Do you guys any games you want to talk about, or what are you thinking? Anybody
I've been playing nothing.
Perfect. Well, I always saw Mega Man.
I've been trying to get James to play Marvel vs. Capcom with me. That's about it.
Yeah, we're talking about fighting games.
He doesn't want to do it.
Were you guys getting excited for the Street Fighter 6 game?
No, we talked about it.
Okay. Actually, all right.
The internet seems very positive about it right now.
So yeah, I want to bring up some qualms here, and Jake, after this podcast, you can do some research for me, because we're in this weird phase where, like, at least with me and my knowledge, and I've been trying to look this up all week, like the PlayStation 4-5 issue has come up again, where like I have been looking up like Street Fighter 6, and if you look it up on the PlayStation website, it says PS4, PS5 with a singular price of $70. And then underneath that, it says this is a PS5 this is PS5 only. This purchase will only work on the PS5.
Okay.
So that was really confusing. Yeah, so I was confused by that. And then I looked up my fight stick and I was like, do the fight sticks just move forward? And everyone is saying that somebody else is at fault. Either PlayStation needs to give drivers, or, Quamba or the Mad Cats, whoever makes your fight stick, needs to tell PlayStation to give the drivers, or Street Fighter, the game, Capcom needs to do it. Nobody knows if fight sticks are going to work on the new systems yet. And there's just a lot of confusion going around of like, how are we going to play this game?
Interesting. It does look like it's out for PS4, by the way.
Yeah, it is. They said they're coming out with a PS4, PS5. Yeah. But they're not. Their language is very vague as to like, if I buy the PS5 version, can I just play it on my PS4?
That's probably why it's $70 on PS4. Because you can probably, if you buy PS4, it's also a PS5 game.
I would hope so.
A few things.
On your PS4.
Yeah, because my fight stick that I own for the PS4 might not work on a PS5.
That sucks, by the way. That's fucking ridiculous.
Yeah, and so that to me is where like a lot of people are positive. I think we're just ready for a new round of fighting games.
Yeah.
No, there hasn't been any new generation fighting games yet, and this year we're getting Street Fighter and Tekken, and potentially whatever NetherRealm's working on.
Yeah.
There was some kind of leak where whatever they're working on will be either announced or released.
I think it's the next Mortal
Kombat.
It's the next Mortal Kombat's coming out, so it's not an Injustice game.
I think it's going to be MK versus DC.
That's what I think it's going to be too. I think it's going to be Mortal Kombat Injustice.
I hope so. I'm very excited for whatever they're making.
We'll see. Did you see Dragon Ball Z's doing another? Is it Budokai?
Or they're making Budokai Tenkaichi.
Yeah, they're making another Budokai Tenkaichi, which is just wild. Because they just made.
I played Dragon Ball Z Kakarot, and that one felt like Tenkaichi. So I don't know what the hell they could do. That will.
Yeah, it's just I'm amazed they went away from the Fighters Z game.
Yeah, I mean that's just like a.
Namco does their own thing.
That's for sure.
Dragon Ball Z spans much more than just one single game. Because Dragon Ball Fighter Z is still doing great, and yet everyone's also excited for another.
Budokai is
fighting.
Great. Budokai
I don't know if you call it a fighting game or a brawler basher.
I don't know.
3D action.
I like those 3D fighting world type games.
I always liked the Budokai games when I was
Virtua
a kid.
Fighter had that like kind of.
Yeah.
But Budokai you could fly.
I love that the DLC characters for that Fighter Z game are just like different variants of Goku and Vegeta, and that's just like pretty much what it's been. Is like there's like 12 variants of Goku. Like, all right.
I never watched the show, so I have no idea what the fuck any of that is. I just know that there's like 6 different Gokus.
You never watched Dragon Ball Z?
No, we talked about this.
Jesus, Ted.
Fuck, Ted. I feel like that's like such a show up your own alley.
There's a Kai version now, so it's like modern.
Yeah, apparently it's very good. Never seen it.
Yeah, man, Super and a GT. None of them are on Hulu.
Skip GT.
GT's terrible. That's a baby Goku, right? He's like a kid again. Yeah.
Baby Goku.
Goku gets turned into a kid by some crazy wizard, and then he and Trunks and some fucking chick go travel the stars to try to turn.
His granddaughter.
It is his granddaughter. Oh god. It just gets so bad.
But Trunks is great. Future Trunks.
Trunks is always great. Trunks is the best character of all time.
Trunks is one of the best characters.
Trunks and then Kid Trunks, and like Kid Trunks is an asshole because he knows that he's gonna be okay in the future. It's fucking great.
And then adult Gohan was good.
Super Saiyan Man. He was always great. God, let's just talk about Dragon Ball Z for a little bit, James. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, we should.
Fucking Frieza, Cell.
Yeah, Cell. Oh, dude,
come on. Thank you so much for watching the 126th episode of the Thesideescape Gaming Podcast. My name is Jake. That's James. That's Ted. And we'll see you next week where we are going to talk about The Last of Us HBO show because it's going to be done. And I have been just burning up to talk to these boys about this show.